Right, it's review number 3 of this week, and I've got 3 choices. I've got what I'm covering, I've got this disgusting van, I've got whatever the hell this is, God knows, I'll get back to that, and then I've got the ridiculous Jaguar. So I will come back to that. I'm editing these 2 videos back to back, so you might get that one very, very soon. So we're looking at the Grotti Cartuccia GT, brand new in GTA Online this week. Launch with the Court Centre Heist update, which I still haven't had time to play. Now this car is carrying on a really, really good start. I've got to admit, with this update, they've started really, really well. The Merc was fabulous. The Valeno was fabulous, and this as well. Really, really good. Now it's based on the Ferrari 12 cylindric, which, yeah, we'll admit it, is not the best looking Ferrari ever. That title goes to the 288 GTO. Just saying, that's not an opinion, that's fact. So yeah, it's not starting off from a great place, because the car that this is based on is a bit of a minger, if we're honest. However, I think this thing is very, very rescuable, and it is a really, really good buy. So this is available this week from Legendary Motors for 2.4 million, I believe, which makes it the 4th most expensive non-HSW car in the game. So it needs to be at least the 4th best non-HSW car in the game. So let's just see how it does. So we'll start with the looks, because as I say, when you first buy this you might think it's a bit goppy, and when you start doing the customization, very much like I said with the Valeno, the customization is actually quite subtle on this. They seem to have taken a very different route with customization with these last couple of cars. It's a little bit less wild and a little bit more considered, so what you're actually doing is choosing things that really improve the car. But where it changes with this car in particular is when you get to the dark colours, because when you've been through all your other customization, and when you start to actually want to repaint this thing and you start to look at the dark colours, then this kind of happens. Yeah, that's quite enough of that. Let's move on. The point being, this car looks amazing in black. Now, as soon as this video is finished, I'm going to repaint this thing black, and that's how I'm going to keep it. I can't do it black now because black cars look terrible in the thumbnails, and none of you will click this and none of you will watch it if I paint it black. So I've gone for the darkest colour that I think I can get away with, which is this, I believe it's midnight purple metallic. And even then, it just brings it to life a little bit. I've never known a car in GTA be affected so much by the colour choice. And I don't know if it's because it just cancels out that horrific 80s style kind of light bar thing in the front. I think all it needs is a reflector borrowed from a Peugeot 205 to make that absolutely perfect. But anyway, I digress. So let's get back to the actual car, and is it any good? Well, do you know what? It is. Now, I've just been through the customization, but what I do when I buy these cars, I like to take them for a little drive before I do any sort of customization. And for this one, I've got to admit, I was having a huge amount of fun right up until this happened. But we're not going to talk about that. That was someone else's fault, that wasn't me. But the point of this car is, it is fun. Now, despite the lap time that we'll come back to, it's not a car that actually feels all that quick. So whenever you're tearing through the freeway or the motorway, it doesn't feel like you're out of control like you do in some of the other fast cars, which is a good time, should I say, to come to the top speed test. So if you're new to the channel, this is my top speed test. It's a mile of track around the back end of the map that I've measured. It's exactly 1 mile. I do this as fast as I can. do a little bit of simple maths, and that tells you the achievable top speed that you can maintain through traffic, not some sort of theoretical maximum that you're never going to see. This is what you can actually do. And this did a 27.09 for the mile with a top speed of 131.5. And that's pretty damn good. That's faster than quite a lot of HSW cars. So we already know we're onto something decent with this because the top speed is good. But what about what happens when you get there on your way to the top speed? So let's look at the handling. And the handling in this thing, it's just incredible. I mean, I'm going to go as far as to say I think this is up there with the Comet SR. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know what I think of the Comet SR. I think that's one of the best cars in the game. Certainly not the fastest, but one of the best because it's one of the most balanced in that the amount of power it has really matches the way it handles and the way it drives. And they've done that again with this. And it just feels fun. It never feels wild, it never feels like it's trying to kill you like the Stinger GT PDQ. I forget how many letters are around that one. It doesn't feel like it's going to kill you like one of those. It feels controllable. Yes, it'll step out at the back, but it's really easy to control and you can just whip it into a four-wheel slide as easily as you like. It's just absolutely beautifully balanced. And in fact, as I was saying earlier about how I like to try these things before I modify them, even if you're a bit short on cash, if you can afford this car but you're a bit short on cash, just buy it and don't modify it, because I guarantee that even without modifying it, this car will be good enough. It absolutely will be good enough. This is absolutely one of the best cars that they've added to GTA for a very long time, and I know I've said that about 3 of them this time. So let's put that in perspective. So the Merc, that was just because I loved it. I thought it was a cool car to add. Yes, it's reasonably quick, not amazingly quick, but it's nicely quick and feels really nice to drive. The Valena, sorry, I forget what the name is. That is just the first decent supercar they've added for a huge amount of time, and that again is really, really good fun to drive. But this, it's achievable, it's attainable, it's controllable, it's perfect. Now, it's not cheap. As I said earlier, at 2.4 million, it is one of the most expensive non-HSW cars in the game. But if you look in the bottom right of the corner, you'll see the lap time that I'm doing for this full lap of the map. Now, any time under 8 minutes is purely just for the HSWs. I've never done a time under 8 minutes in a non-HSW car. And this, and as you saw as I went onto the bridge, it wasn't that clear. It wasn't that clean a lap, should I say. We've done it in 8:05, which actually makes it the second fastest non-HSW car I've ever taken around this lap, and that was on a lap that wasn't particularly clean. So I offer a challenge, and let's face it, even while I'm saying this, I already know who's going to beat it. I know it's going to be Dead Man Down Under, but I think this car is the first non-HSW car that will do my lap of the map in under 8 minutes, because I did an 8:05. I think I had about 4 or 5 attempts at this because I knew it was capable of doing it. And bearing in mind, I do keep the traffic on because I like it to feel realistic. But I think this car will do a sub 8 minute lap. And if you can do that and send me the clip, then I'll give you a shout out in the next video, which will, well, maybe not the next video, because the next video is going to be a god awful Jag. On the subject of that, if you want to see the next video. But on that note, yeah, if you think you can get this under 8 minutes, clip it, send me the clip, I'll put you in the next video. But on the subject of this car, yes, it's brilliant. Just buy it, it's amazing, you won't regret it. So I hope that was useful. I'll see you all in the next one.